Chasin Trail, kicking up dirt, sweating my eyes, but it don't hurt. Fast feet, loose rocks, send it full sail. Ain't no stopping, we chasing trail.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chasin Trail. I am your host, Teddy Tonelli, aka Teddy Too Fast, and today I have a very special guest for you. This man has the stride of a gazelle, the jawline of a Roman statue, and the Instagram of someone who clearly is looking to be sponsored or be on the next iteration of The Bachelor Ultra Edition. He probably won't admit it, but without further ado, let me welcome to the show Francesco Sunseri. Francesco, how the hell you doing?
That was some big words for a guy who carries trekking poles on fire roads. I'm doing well, Teddy. How are you?
Yeah, well, fire roads is all I got here, Anywho, you've got, an ultra running resume, ultra sign up. I'm looking, he's got some wins on there, some the podiums and things like this. What's your secret? Training? Is it talent? Or is it just like a steady, diet of, ego and avocado toast?
Oh, I would say I've done that much. I mean, I over the last 6 years, I've had a few races, but nothing crazy, anything like that. I would hardly call it a resume. But I would say, consistency, is being, the big one. I tend to be fairly competitive, overly competitive at times. But healthy ego, I don't think, hurts anything. But I still understand my, my limitations. So it, keeps me firmly grounded in reality.
Yeah, no, okay, sure. Okay, yeah. Well, let's talk fashion, okay? You're one of the only runners that I know who can run 100K and, still finish looking like you're ready to walk down the runway in Milan, for some sort of like fashion show or something like that. I mean, do you sweat, or is it just like, cologne, mist, and like superiority coming out like at all times?
Oh yeah, no, I sweat. I mean, I think I smell freaking disgusting. Just like everybody else. Man, no cologne coming out of the pores, just standard sweat. No, I think that, I tend to, wear a lot of, bright clothing, and I tend to be loud at races, I think. And it's always been like that way, in competitive environments, tend to, be, more vocal and I don't know, I guess getting into that competitive spirit, if you will. I don't know. But yeah, I think that, best describe it, I describe it as somewhat flamboyant personality.
Yeah, okay, so flamboyant, you mean gay, right?
No, I mean like just the bold colors, and, I have opinions, and I tend to share them. I don't think that's gay.
I mean, I don't know, you said it.
It said what?
Nothing. Okay, something a little less serious. As you may know, Teddy loves animals. I was wondering, what's your favorite animal?
I probably have to say wolves.
Okay, yeah, no, wolf is cool. Is it because you see yourself as like one of these like alpha wolves? You know what I'm saying? Like, one of these like guys is like, oh, big alpha guy.
No, I think that whole thing's kind of douchey. No, I just think that it's the way that they use teamwork to problem solve, really. I mean, I like working in a team. I like leading said teams. And I think that, as a leader of a team, right, you need to know when to, step in and lead by example, or when to sit back, observe, and allow your team to execute the plan that, that you laid out. And, at the end of the day, you got to know when to utilize both scenarios. And, again, that's kind of, simplifying things. But, I think that, wolves are very much the same way, right? So I guess, kind of relating to them in that way. I mean, I just think that that's a really cool thing about wolves. Yeah, wolves.
Yeah, okay, that was a lot more than I expected. But no, guess that's a good answer. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, Instagram is full of like these deep thoughts while running type bullet, type posts, like alone in the wilderness. How many of these captions are you thinking about on the run? Like you stopping like midway to like write it down, I don't,
No, none of them written mid-run. I mean, I wouldn't say anything is like any like profound or deep or whatever, but I think that, for me, part of the draw to running, I think is like, part of that, like kind of overthinking, if you will. I don't really consider running meditation, but I think that there is, kind of like a therapeutic aspect to it, right? Um, and in a way you kind of look at it almost like talk therapy. And you're kind of just working through a problem and being able to be stuck with that problem. You could be in a horribly physical state, and the only thing you have are your thoughts. And I mean, and if you're constantly thinking about, oh my god, my legs feel like shit, you're really not solving anything other than just kind of dwelling in that misery. And there's a time and a place for everything, but I think that at the end of the day, being able to have to sit with that problem, whatever it may be. It could be about the current race or run that you're in, or some life bullshit that's going on. Just being able to think through that problem, game it out, and kind of like go through scenario through scenario through scenario, and it just helps you problem solve a little bit. So I think that I don't think there's any like anything necessarily deep about it. I just think that's kind of how I utilize running, and I guess if it gets put on Instagram, that's what fucking happens.
well, I mean, if you want my initial reaction, I would say that's beautiful. But I also want to tell you how counterproductive that seems.
How so?
Well, I mean, it seems to be like a lot of mental energy when you should be saving that. Have you ever just considered like putting on music and zoning out like a normal person, or like,
Yeah, no. I mean, I listen to music. I plenty of times, I'll just turn on music just to tune out. But I think sometimes it's, running's always good just to, not have any of that, external stimuli. I mean, you're already outside. There's already, birds and animals and shit rustling through the bushes, and, people and vehicles, whatever it may be. So yeah, no, sometimes music, sometimes not.
I looked at your ultra sign up and it says that you're top 5 in most races. Yeah. How does it feel consistently beating 40-year-old dads who've had a knee replacement and likely using a Costco headlamp?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, no, shit still feels great. Actually, funny story. At Mammoth Trail Fest one year, there's a certain section of that course right before the end where it's kind of like winding single track, just on like real smooth kind of. I think it's like mountain bike trail or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what it's used for, but either which way, single track coming down. And then you come up over a bridge, down a set of stairs, and then you go through the village of Mammoth. Anywho, it was like I think a quarter mile or so from the bridge, and there's this dude in front of me, and I was fucking trying to chase him down and just trying to just catch this guy. It was the end of the race, and I was just trying to just finish it strong. And this guy was the target. So anyway, running down, and right as he approaches the bridge, I'm coming up on him, and he hears me and turns around and kind of has like this panicked look, and like kind of trips over himself a little bit, and as he's trying to run over the bridge and speed up, but at this time, I was just hauling ass, and I was just I was gonna pass him. It was unless I tripped down the stairs. So anyway, flew down the stairs. He kind of stumbled, but as I'm going through the freaking village like an absolute psychopath, I end up passing this girl, and in my fucking head, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna think that I'm trying to like big dick her or something like that, and be like, oh, like beating a chick. I don't know, whatever. Like in my fucking head, like this is the scenario that I come up with. So I go fucking cross the finish line, and as she's crossed, like she's coming up behind me, she finishes. So I make my way over to her and explain the situation. I'm like, oh my god, like, hey, I wasn't like trying to pass you or like trying to beat you or anything like that. There's this dude over here, and like this guy's kind of trotting in. And I was just trying to beat him, and she was looking at me like, oh, okay, yeah, like whatever, and like just left. But yeah, no, that was funny. I mean, I think that to your, again, like it's just the competitive side of it, I think, right? So like, that dude, I don't know if he was 40 or 20, I have no fucking idea, but like he was there, and I just needed to beat him at that moment.
I'm not laughing. How is that a funny story?
I'm okay. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not funny. Maybe like I don't know. I guess maybe you had to be there, right?
Okay, but you said it was gonna be a funny story, so I was expecting to laugh. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, moving on. You've run some absolutely brutal courses, right? Steep, technical, freaking miserable. What kind of childhood trauma led you to this activity? Right, and this looks fun. I decided to stuff it here.
Honestly, nothing I can think of. I'm sure there's some repressed memories that I'm burying deep down that would require some therapy to uncover. But again, not going to therapy, just running.
Okay, I don't believe that you answered my question at all, but I mean that's fine.
No, I can answer it.
Honestly, I'd rather you didn't. Okay. You've got a reputation. People say you're smooth, you're fast, maybe a little too confident, right? What's your response to people who call you the Zac Efron of dirt?
Yeah, man. I don't think anyone's actually ever said that. But I guess I'm flattered. Or I don't know. Zac Efron kind of looks like a frog to me. So yeah. Huh. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe just a bit. I think sometimes people can be put off by too much confidence. Teddy can relate, to you on that one.
Pretty much.
Okay, truth time. Okay, you ready? Okay, all right. Have you ever run a race? Okay, just to enjoy it. All right, just go out there, just enjoy the race. Or is every race like secretly a chance for you to go out there, and like prove something to your father or something like that?
Yeah. Funny enough.
Here we go with the funny guy again.
Okay, all right, maybe not funny, but this coming Wednesday, I believe, or no, excuse me, Tuesday. May 6th, I probably should know the date, is Mingus Traverse. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, Mingus Traverse, it's going to be during the Cocodona 250 weekend. So it's an 80 miler. There's like 10,000 feet of vert. So anyway, I had some Air Vapor credits that I needed to use. So I decided to sign up for that. And seemed like it's like super beautiful course. It's going to be a ton of people, ton of energy. I figured it'd be a really good event to go and kind of do just that. Just go and enjoy the race and forget about where I'm placing, all of that. And that's not to say that like I don't want to place well. It's really to just that I don't think really that my legs are really ready to go and race an 80 miler competitively in any capacity. So, I figured it was a good one to just go enjoy it. Air Vapor always puts on great events. So, what better way to, go and spend midweek, and go out and run 80 miles.
Yeah, okay, that's fun. You just decide 80-mile race in the middle of the week. Sure, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get it. I do.
Yeah, okay. Well, scenario. You're on a mountain ridge, bonking hot, hallucinating, questioning life. Okay? What keeps you going? Is it great glory or the fact that if you don't, you'll die? Tell me.
Oh, dude, yeah. For me, that's going to be Red Bull every single time. There's been multiple times where I've needed water, and I've only had Red Bull, and it has been fucking clutch. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's probably meth.
As somebody who has used meth in the past, not the same. Meth adjacent, maybe?
Okay, let's do lightning round. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you know the drill.
Yep.
I need you to pretend there is music, and you need to answer as quickly as possible. Okay, do you got it? Okay?
Got it. Yep.
All right. Okay, lightning round. Here we go. All right. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay, tea or coffee?
Coffee, definitely.
Favorite place to run?
Oh, it's a tough one.
No, you need to answer fast. Let's go.
Okay, like Tahoe.
Is Michelino ever going to come on the pod?
Probably not, no.
Okay. Stop the lightning round. Look here, Francesco. I'm getting sick and freaking tired of your brother dodging me. I've had your mom on, and now I've had you on. What is he hiding?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's hiding anything. I just think that he's busy with all the national park bullshit. He doesn't have time for, just to go on a podcast and fuck around.
Fuck around?
Yeah, I mean, fuck around, yeah.
You think Teddy is fucking around?
Look, dude.
No, you look here, Francesco. Teddy has been nothing but good to you and your family and your brother. And this is how you repay me? This is how you're gonna do, Teddy?
I don't really want to do this with you right now. All right, man. I'm out.
Oh, you're gonna leave. Okay, man. There he goes. You gotta be freaking kidding me. I swear, these Sunseris, prima freaking donnas, man. Usually I have the guest give the last word, but since, our guest decided to take the coward's way out, I don't know, whatever. You can find Francesco on Instagram, he's on whatever. I'm not sharing his information because, that was rude. That was freaking rude. Jake, okay, look, get Francesco's people on the phone. Look.
He owns Run Slut.
What do you mean?
No, like he owns us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he owns Run Slut.
Uh-huh.
Like our sponsor.
Yeah.
They own us. Shit. Okay, shit. Okay, I'm Teddy Tonelli with Chasin Trail. Teddy out. Oh, fuck.
Chasin Trail, kicking up dirt, sweating my eyes, but it don't hurt. Fast feet, loose rocks, send it full sail. Ain't no stopping, we chasing trail, yeah.